So I just got done spending about a couple hours on the excavator, and I moved a bunch of this lime rock and also pushed around a bunch of dirt over here by my new garage. I put a test cooler on the mini excavator and a couple of fans. I'll get to this in a minute over here, and I'll show you what I've done. So I had this cooler laying around here, and it's for an intercooler setup. And at one time I was going to put a water-cooled intercooler on this car right here, this turbocharged vehicle. And actually, that's the intercooler right down there. And the cooler is right here. And those are a couple of motorcycle fans. They're 12 bucks a piece on Amazon. And they actually blow just a crap load of air. Let me turn them on for you here. They're a little noisy, but they really move some air. So there you have them running. Just a temporary setup here. So I just scabbed in the line that goes from the return line to the bottom port of the cooler, out of the top port, and back down to the fluid filter over here. And one thing I do want to do is tap into the side of that filter and put this differential. It's not a differential, it's a pressure gauge. Let me show it to you. It's not liquid filled, but it sure can be. All right, so I got this pressure gauge here, and it's just a 0 to 15 psi gauge, and it's a panel mount gauge, so I can mount it basically almost anywhere, really. Maybe down here, I don't really know. I don't know how I'll handle the vibration, but like I said, you can put glycerin in there. And then the other thing I've done is, I'm sure you've seen these fans before for radiators. I took the fan blade off and mounted it on the old pulley down there. And it's actually just a nice little breeze. You know, I can't expect much, but it's not too bad. And then the only other thing I've got going on regarding the alternator is I was struggling hard. I was like, you know, how am I going to put a bracket on here? You know, where's that bracket going to go to adjust this thing? And I'm kind of racking my brain, and I do most of my sleep, or most of my thinking when I'm laying in bed for some reason or the other. But anyway, so I was laying there and I thought, you know, oh shit, what about an idler pulley? You know what I mean? So I think that's the route I'm going to go. I'm going to put a little bracket going from here to here and bolt it to the bottom. And I'll get the camera in here and you can see the arrangement here. I need to make a bracket for the idler pulley. And if you look down here, you can see the fan that I added to the pulley. Of course, this is all, if you look at it, it's got a pretty decent size, I think it's a 6-inch pulley on the motor. And then of course that's just the stock one that's on the alternator. But with this arrangement, I think I should be able to get pretty decent RPM out of it, where I don't have to run wide open throttle, because the controls really get jerky at high, for me at least they do. And of course the fuel consumption and the heat you generate too, running wide open throttle. I got another pulley coming that's a little bit bigger even, so I'm gonna play around with it and just see, you know, what works best. But I like the idler pulley idea myself personally. But yeah, this is all with the intent of putting air conditioning on this, because it is just miserable here in Florida, the bugs and whatnot. I live in kind of a rural area, so the bugs are really bad. But this worked really well. It really did. I mean, it just kept on cruising, never got above really like just right around 40 degrees Celsius, which is just, you know, you can't beat that. I mean, I think the factory cooler, or the cooler that is sold for this commonly, I've heard complaints that it runs at 180 degrees, which that is so close to like rotary screw temperature. And this is hydraulics, and hydraulics don't need to be hot like a rotary screw air compressor. In my opinion, they don't. I think the closer you can get this oil to ambient temperature, the better off you are. But at any rate, appreciate you watching. Stay tuned. I'll get this alternator going here. I've got this car over here to paint little family truckster. And we'll kind of go from there. Appreciate it though, guys. See ya.